Hey guys, Bic Mitchum here, coming at you with another podcast. Today I got DingusBringus with me. Hey Dingus, how you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Today we're going to talk about the roadmap that is coming out on Friday, and we're also going to talk a little bit about DingusBringus' channel, because I'm sure a lot of you guys are unaware of it. Some of you are. And just kind of his journey on YouTube so far, which has been a short but fulfilling ride. So let's jump right into the roadmap. So on Friday, we are going to get our first real roadmap for Battlefront 2. And Dingus, what are you expecting right off the bat? Like, what do you expect to see in this roadmap on Friday?
I'm expecting to see some details about the game mode in July, the Starfighter Heroes vs. Villains game mode. I'm expecting to know the month that we're going to get the Clone Wars update, and I'm expecting to possibly see maybe the specific Geonosis maps that we get, because there could be a few with the just sand plains of Geonosis, or the Droid Factory, or the Geonosian Arena, or maybe all three. So that's really what I'm expecting. I'm not really expecting the exact date we get the road. We get the season for Clone Wars. I'm not really expecting any kind of price for the heroes. Just a generalization of what we're gonna get from like July to the start of the Clone Wars season.
Okay, so I'll tell you kind of like what I want to see is I want to see July, August, September, October, up till the Clone Wars, whenever that is. So that's kind of the what I've pictured to be the end of the roadmap, and I want to see under July. I want to see. I don't need to see specifics. Like I don't need to. If there's going to be a hero, I don't need to see. We're getting. I don't know, insert new hero here. Like, I don't need to see the names. I just, like, if we're getting two heroes, just say on the roadmap, one light side, one dark side hero, one map, one game mode. I don't necessarily specifically need to know. What I would like to know, if it is a new map or a new game mode, if they plan on it being a new game mode or a reused game mode. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds very fair. I would want to know that too.
Yeah, so like, moving forward, I would want to see, yeah, like I said, maps, game modes, but I'd also like to see, like if there's going to be new blasters, I don't need to know what they are, but like, we're going to have 8 new weapons. We're going to have 12 new star cards. Like that's what I want to see. And I really could care less about the challenges on the roadmap. I honestly think that that's not what anyone is looking for, but I want to see July, August, September, October, and then dates. Or sorry, dates, not dates. I want to see the specific, like what we are getting in each month. That's kind of what I
Yeah,
think. I don't think that's too much to ask for,
I don't know either.
and it doesn't need to be. If it's a new ship, just put one. 2 new ships. If it's a new game mode, you don't need to go too much into detail what it is. Anything right now is better than what we've been getting in the past, so I think we take it as
Definitely.
a win. What do you think about what do you think the ratio should be for Battlefront 2015 content to Battlefront 2? Like, if you were to pick like percentage wise of the content we're getting, what do you think would be kind of a fair amount for
Um,
old
I think
versus new?
maybe like maybe 30%. Like you mentioned earlier, new blasters and everything, and there's a lot of blasters from Battlefront 2015 that could be added over into Battlefront 2. So those could be part of that. I really want to see Sabotage back in the game. That was my favorite game mode, and now that they have Bespin, they could do that. So I would feel like maybe August would be a good month to add Sabotage, since that's kind of in between the Clone Wars season and the Starfighter Assault game mode, and possibly maybe some maps from the last one too, like maybe extra Bespin map for Sabotage if they add that. But I don't really think it should be any more than 30%. I feel like more than that would kind of make this like a Battlefront 1.5, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, for sure.
bringing bringing a lot of stuff from the old game and then adding just a little bit more. I feel like this needs to be different, but also bringing the good stuff from the first game.
Right. When we were chatting just before the podcast, you made a pretty good point about something that the developers had mentioned about the free DLC. Do you want to kind of talk about that?
Oh yeah. So when they first revealed that the DLC is going to be free, they put up this little, like maybe 10-second video, just laying out what we'll be getting. They said new maps, new heroes, new vehicles, and they said new weapons. And we haven't gotten any new weapons yet. So I'm really hoping that this roadmap tells us, like you said earlier, that we're going to get a blank amount of new weapons. And I think the majority of those weapons are going to be from the first Battlefront, since that's probably easier for them to bring in code-wise and model-wise.
Right. You had mentioned, I guess perhaps I did, was that it didn't necessarily have to be exactly what we were getting, or like challenges weren't necessarily that important. But I would like to see something like a blaster of the week or something like that, where you could unlock, say, like the EE3 or just anything from the previous game, like once, and it's only there for the week. So like, say you have the weekend to complete a challenge, and if you complete it the following week, you could use the bow rifle or whichever. Like, do you know what I mean?
That's
like
cool.
That would be,
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be something of, I would want to see something like that on the roadmap. I did say I don't want to see challenges, but that would be, I would think that would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I agree.
The skin system's bothering me, I have to say, like with the way that the transaction, like the crystals, like what do you feel about the price of the skins and the quality of the skins we're getting? Is it worth the money?
Some of them are. I feel like the new Han Solo skins are definitely worth it. I think those look amazing. They don't sound amazing, but they look amazing.
So let me, to put into perspective, the game, I can go and buy at Walmart right now for $39.99 Canadian, and I could buy that skin for $26 for one skin.
Oof.
Like
I did not realize that.
that right there tells me that, like if we have like a kid grinding at McDonald's to make money, that's like 3 hours of work. You know what I mean? Like, that seems like, whereas you could, in 4.5 hours of work, you could buy a game. Like, it's just so, like, the full actual game. Like, that's kind of, to me, like, the price is kind of getting a little out there. I'd like to see in the roadmap maybe a little more about skins. Like, I feel like we have a lot of skins in the game already, but if you could have a skin or two every couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I know Fortnite does it, but Fortnite has unlimited resources. Like, they could have a skin of anything, essentially.
Plus, their game is way more simplistic than Battlefront is.
Yeah, and they don't have to go out there and get like the rights for anything, or
Exactly.
They don't have to match it up with anything. If someone wants to have a blue shirt and a green hat, then
Exactly.
there's nothing stopping them from that. So, do you think skins and kind of now that I kind of brought that up, I feel like microtransactions should be part of the roadmap, because not prices. I wouldn't dare put prices on there, but
oh, no way.
what about the hero? So we talked about up to the Clone Wars. Do you think they should release the data for what it's going to take to unlock the new heroes?
That's a tough one, because I could definitely see it being easier for the fans if we know that, because then we know how much we have to grind out for. But from their perspective, if they release the actual amount of credits that the characters are going to be worth, then say someone who's at 150,000 credits right now, if in total all the heroes cost 200,000 credits and they get there in maybe a week or two, then that leaves a couple months until the Clone Wars season that they wouldn't be playing the game, and they need people to play the game. So I don't really think they should reveal the prices, because that would stop people from playing the game for those couple months because they would grind out the credits and have enough credits to buy those heroes.
Right. That's a good point. What I'm concerned about is that, suppose little Johnny goes and buys the game the week before the Clone Wars come out and finds out that he needs to grind 200,000 credits in order to get his 4 heroes he bought the game for in the first place. Is there any kind of I feel like there needs to be some sort of middle ground where
Yeah.
either, oh, like
Well, the
I
thing is, like, at launch when you buy the game, say little Johnny does go buy the game like a week before Clone Wars comes out, he would have access to every hero in the game right now. So he would have access to Maul and Yoda and the original trilogy. So
I feel like as a person that bought the game.
yeah,
All right, so suppose I bought the game for $99.99, and then I like I feel like to have to put in, oh, how many hours is it? Like countless hours to unlock these heroes is kind of annoying. I feel like the problem from the get go is that the standard for heroes has always changed. If it was
yeah,
always the same, then at least people wouldn't feel like people bought the game a month after release and all the heroes were just free. So now they've kind of created this standard. It would be just as if they were to all of a sudden say that DLC is going to be, we're going back to season pass, $19.99 each or $14.99, whatever it was. So I think the fact that we flip flopped the standard is really a big problem.
yeah. I feel like the reason they did that was because of all the backlash about how much the heroes costed in the beginning. Personally, I didn't really mind it too much because from launch I was grinding it like crazy, so it didn't really bother me. But I could definitely see where people were coming from, and I do think they're gonna put that into thought while they're making the prices for these new heroes, because they do want people to play the game. Because if they give us everything right when it comes out, then we'll play it like really fast, and we'll get bored of it, and then people will stop playing the game. I feel like that's one of the big reasons why the first Battlefront got boring very fast, because it was very easy to grind out everything, and everything was basically given to us. But if they make them too high, then they'll run into the problem, like you just said, that people will complain, and then they'll have to change it again, and they'll have to either lower it or just make them free.
Yeah, because the hero cost, we deemed the hero cost 60,000 to be way too high. And now, like you had mentioned, 50,000 as being a reasonable cost. I don't think that's much lower, but it has to take into account that when they were 60,000, to progress through the game, we also needed to buy crates, which,
Yeah.
like, it's kind of, we're on a new progression system. So I think, honestly, I know some people that did not buy the new Millennium Falcon because 35,000 was too much,
I didn't either.
and I didn't buy it either. I bought one of the solo skins, but I think this. I personally think the new roadmap should tell us what to expect for unlocking heroes. I think it's their fault in the first place that we're in this predicament because they continuously change the standard for which we unlock heroes. I don't know what the new Mario Tennis game is like, but I can remember playing Mario Tennis in the past, and you unlock new like characters based on in-game challenges, and that was always the standard. It was always like that, and I always felt a sense of accomplishment when I unlocked a character in a different game. But this game, I feel like it is a chore to unlock heroes, and I can't really figure out why it feels that way.
I feel like it's because the credit amount that you get from each game is below 1,000, that it takes so long to grind out, and to have to get over 1,000 per match, you have to do challenges that take long in themselves, and then once you do those challenges, there's really nothing else left, so you keep getting 300 credits per game. And games, depending on what game you're playing, say you're playing Galactic Assault, one of those games could take like 20 minutes, and you only get around 300 credits for it, and that's pretty. Although of the amount that I would need to buy a skin.
Those skins are that way too expensive.
Definitely.
way too expensive. What do you think of Kanapin's idea of community challenges, where say 5 million minutes played with Leia or something like that, or 5 million damage with Leia or something like that, grants something community wide.
Yeah, I like that. I remember hearing that on that podcast, and I thought that was a great idea, because it's a great way to kind of to bring the community together and it's also a great way to just get people playing again. Because if they see that it's that big of a number, but if they know that other people are doing it too, then they'll feel like, hey, I want to help out. I want to be a part of this. I want to, like, say they have their friends playing as well. They say, I want to contribute to all my friends, or I want to just get this as well. So that would definitely be a good incentive to get people to play again. And it would also be a good way to de-stress, I guess, about getting so many credits to unlock certain things.
Do you think that the community is going to positively perceive the roadmap that we get Friday? If you had a crystal ball right now, what reactions are you seeing on Twitter in your crystal ball?
I don't see good reactions. I feel like people are really hyping this roadmap up for good reason, but I feel like they're expecting way too much. I feel like people are expecting like specific details about everything that we're going to be getting when we're still maybe 3 to 4 months away from the season even coming out. So that's why personally I'm preparing myself for just a general thing where they say however many heroes, just a big, really general thing. But I just see a lot of people going into it saying, I want to know what specific skins are getting. I want to know how much they cost. I want to know these challenges. I want to know what day it comes out. I want like all those kind of specifics. And I feel like I don't know that right now because it's too early. But I feel like we should be happy with that we're even getting a roadmap because of the lack of communication that we've gotten the past 6 months. Even getting anything should be a victory, and we shouldn't really too much. Like, beggars can't be choosers. So if we go into that expectation of know every little detail, disappointed for no good reason, and I feel like that's what's going to happen on Friday.
All right, so Dingus, let's take a couple minutes here to chat about your channel and just kind of the ride you've been on since your channel began. So where did the idea of starting YouTube come from?
It started about maybe 3 to 4 years ago when I was still into Minecraft, and I watched this Minecraft mod review video, and I just thought it was so cool that somebody was fun playing a video game but also put it on the internet for people to watch it. So I waited a couple years to see where YouTube would go, and then I saved up the money to start buying a mic and a game capture device. And then about a year ago, I was talking to my friends and telling them about how I wanted to, start doing YouTube. And they were kind of confused at first because they thought that was weird that I was gonna post YouTube videos while still in school. But eventually, they kind of came around to it, and it's always good to have support from your friends. So that really helped me push and start my channel.
Where'd you get the name DingusBringus from?
On the TV show Big Brother a couple years ago, there's this, I forgot the guy's name, but there was this funny dude who called one of the other contestants Fruit Loop Dingus. So I just started calling all my friends at the time a Dingus because I thought that was funny. And then, like, probably a week or two before I started my channel, one of my friends started calling me Bringus because I think they got hooked on the TV show Steve Brule or something to that effect on Adult Swim.
Oh, okay.
And then in like study hall, I was playing Clash Royale and I died. And then out of nowhere, I just said, "You DingusBringus," and that just popped into my head. Hey, that's a catchy and interesting and funny nickname that people could remember. That seems like a good YouTube name.
And that's where DingusBringus came to fruition.
Yeah.
So obviously, what made it Battlefront as like kind of like the center of your channel?
Well, when I first started, I was planning on being Injustice 2 channel, and then once Battlefront 2 came out, starting to do that. But then for some reason, why? Just one day I wanted to stream Battlefront 1. And then, that did okay. I had a couple viewers. And then the next day I thought, hey, that live stream was fun. I'll do it again. and then within 24 hours of doing 2 streams that day, I gained 180 subscribers and had like a concurrent view rate for that day of like 40 people. So then I thought, hey, that's a sign. I should really, instead of doing injustice and not doing well and not reaching people, start doing Battlefront and start reaching people, and that's where your audience is.
Nice. So, has your channel grown with Battlefront 2 coming in, or is like Battlefront 2 been more of a grind than say Battlefront 1 was?
I'm not sure if it's fully on Battlefront 2. Definitely for that like 1 week or two that Battlefront came out, it definitely picked up pretty fast. But I'm not sure if it was because Battlefront 2 got a lot of hate, or if it's because it was during the school year that I just started, like, as soon as maybe a week or two passed of Battlefront 2 coming out, I just dipped in view count and people watching the streams, and my growth on subscribers really dropped. And I thought that was Battlefront 2 related, so then I started doing other stuff, and it seemed like that was more because it was during the school year. So I feel like if Battlefront 2 came out during the summer, it would have gotten better, but I'm not sure if it was fully Battlefront 2's fault that, well, not anybody's fault, but like if it was fully because of Battlefront 2 that I just started to drop in growth.
I think Battlefront 2 coming out around like going back to school is also like, I find the school year is kind of where views drop off, and then the summer is just like crazy time.
Definitely. I can definitely see that.
So where is the sky, we'll call it, on your channel? Where's the top?
Well, what do you mean by top?
Like where do you see your channel going?
Oh, I don't really like to think about that, because if I put those kind of expectations, and if I don't reach that, then I feel like I'll be disappointed. But sorry about that. My computer does that every once in a while. I feel like, based on how I've been growing so far over the past year, if it stays consistent, then I would say I would reach maybe 10,000 within maybe the end of possibly 2020, which I think is a great accomplishment. So I feel like that's where, with the kind of videos and stuff that I'm making, I feel like that's where I would stay for a good amount of my time on YouTube. So I feel like 10,000 is kind of going to be the cap. I mean, obviously, I hope I would get to like 100,000 million. That's always the dream. But I feel like, realistically speaking, I feel like 10,000 is going to be the top.
Do you ever think you're gonna make money off of YouTube?
I would hope so. That's also one of the long time goals, is to hopefully do this for a living, because it's so fun making Star Wars videos and being passionate about that, and then doing streams and being able to interact with people and having people interact with you. That's just so fun. And you see people are able to make a living off of that. So it's always a thought in the back of my mind that, hey, it'd be so cool if one day that could happen. And I feel like everybody has a chance if they really put in the effort and the work into it. It's just a matter of if you put in that effort and work, and a matter of if people are enjoying your videos. And I feel like at the moment, while I'm not putting in as much work as I should, I feel like not a lot of people are really enjoying, or really not enjoying, but don't really have an interest in the kind of videos that I'm making. So I don't see myself ever getting to that level, unfortunately.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry, that was kind of down, but
no, it's all good. So, sorry, give me 1 second here.
that's fine.
So with the future of Battlefront being kind of, I guess we're kind of getting back to a point where it looks like the life cycle is increasing on Battlefront. When do you like pull the plug on Battlefront, I guess we'd say?
I'm not sure if I'm not sure about that. I feel like if it's not really super popular and if it's not being played a lot by the time that new Respawn Star Wars game comes out, I think that's next winter time, then I'll probably pull the plug on Battlefront and then start doing videos on that Star Wars game and kind of try to move my audience over to that game. Because I feel like the majority of people who play Battlefront are also very interested in that Jedi game. So I feel like that could carry over very well and also bring in a new audience of that game is very good.
Nice. What kind of like influences do you look up to in terms of YouTube? Like when you were growing, who would you be looking up to kind of say I want to be more like them?
Definitely Star Wars Theory, because he's probably the biggest of the Star Wars channel. So I'll definitely try to see what he's doing and try to not mimic it, but kind of like put my own spin on it. Definitely Star Wars HQ and Battlefront updates.
Do you ever watch Star Wars Theory and think he's kind of full of it? Do you ever like sometimes you look at a theory and be like, oh wow, that's out there, or does he usually pretty on point?
Some theories are like that, but I feel like all of those kind of Star Wars channels have those theories every once in a while because there's only so many things you can make videos on, theory wise. So just so you can have a video that day, you might have to put out an out there theory, and it seems like Star Wars Theory is a pretty good dude. So I feel like he wouldn't really do that if he didn't have to.
Okay. I think that's all that I had for you today.
Awesome.
That was an interesting first time I've ever done a podcast where I've accidentally streamed it. So thanks for anybody that stopped in and watched and listened. That was definitely different. And we'll be trying to get this out tomorrow, so we'll be chatting, Dingus.
Yep.
Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Bye, guys.